Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Party on Broad. We are talking hockey today. We are talking the NHL draft today. And today I have my man joining us today. He is Tyson. Follow him on Twitter at Quibel Tyson. How you doing, Tyson?
I am doing all right. So try not to sweat everything off in Chicago right now. It's very warm.
Dude, it's crazy here out in Pennsylvania. It's like storm after storm. It goes from beautiful 70 and nice, and then all of a sudden 90 and just pure humidity, man. It's just there's no like in between. It's just sucks or it's beautiful. So today we are discussing Tyson's number 3 draft prospect, 18-year-old center wing from Germany, Tim Stützle. We are going to review his season in 2019-2020. We're going to discuss his strengths. We're going to talk about his weaknesses and how he projects in the NHL moving forward. All right, Tyson, talk to us a little bit about Tim Stützle and who is this guy as a hockey player?
Yeah, so he's one of my favorites in this year's draft. I have a little bit of a bias towards his style of game because he's considered by most scouts, and I think I would consider him to be the top skater in the draft. So he's very, very, very quick, really, really great acceleration. He can go north, south, east, west using his speed exceptionally well. His main comparable that I keep seeing, and I saw this I saw it last year even, was Matt Barzal of the New York Islanders, who is one of my favorite players to watch in the NHL because he can just use his speed. He's really small, kind of like Stützle is, and he'll just carry the puck all day long in the offensive zone, and he'll just wait out defenders, will take chances, and there's a very deep similarity in style of game. And so that's the sort of game that he brings. He's small and quick. And so he's exceptionally fun to watch. He's electrifying. My comparables from were, like I said, Barzal, Nick Ehlers of the Winnipeg Jets, and William Nylander of the Leafs. It's kind of similar hybrids of some of those guys. So, but they're all just heavy on puck carrying, love to enter the opposing team's zone, love to set the pace, and are electrifying to watch. So that's where I stand on him and why I like him a lot.
Yeah, so from the little bit of YouTube I got to watch on this guy, we're going to talk about strengths right now. But, dude, this guy's all about speed. Tell us a little bit about what Tim Stützle brings to the NHL. What are his strengths?
Yeah, so kind of like before, his biggest strength is speed, zone entries, setting up in the offensive zone. Those are his biggest strengths. He put up really good numbers. He played in Germany in their men's league as a 17-year-old this year, put up over 30 points. So he wasn't a point a game, but he had really high numbers for a 17-year-old playing against men. So he did exceptionally well considering. And for the most part, again, it's just his speed, the use of his edges, his willingness to crash the net. At the World Juniors, he had 5 points in 5 games as an underager. And there'd be times and you'd just see him kind of flying through the air towards the goalie where you're just like, whoa, like, dude. He's fearless. He's electrifying. And so those are the aspects of his game. I would consider him to be a highly dynamic player. So in other words, like when he is firing on all cylinders, he looks extremely dynamic. So he might be that guy where you'll turn on SportsCenter randomly one day and be like, whoa, that was an incredible goal or an incredible assist that made top 10. But he may not be like, and I don't think he's anywhere close to being like a top 10 potential NHL talent overall, in the league. But he's just that guy that has a dynamic ability based upon his that's what he brings the most for sure. And he can also play center. So whoever drafts him, I've heard different scouts say different things. Some say he might be a winger, he might be a center. It's going to be up to the team that drafts him on his developmental curve there. But I think that his versatility is also good.
Awesome. Let's move on to weaknesses. Like, what are some areas that Tim Stützle needs to improve on, man?
Yeah, so one of the biggest kind of knocks on his game has been consistency in moments, which again is not uncommon for younger players. But I think like there were moments throughout the season where he had just these moments of just kind of not looking as dynamic as he did in his highest moments. And so I think scouts would have liked to have seen that same level on the regular. Again, it's hard when you're playing against men. So to me, it wasn't so much of a huge red flag. But others have taken that into consideration. I think some people would like to see him get stronger. Again, pretty common for younger prospects. But the other one is just a question that some people have, is that will he be able to be this level of dynamic puck carrier at the NHL level? And so that was a question mark people had for Barzal. In Barzal's draft year, he dropped to, I believe, 19, where the Islanders picked him up. I had him in my top 10, on my top 10 list back in 2015. He broke his kneecap, and so he missed a half of the season. But that was the main complaint with him, is that he was a short, small, dynamic puck carrier. But if he goes up against, I don't know, this is an example people use, Zdeno Chara, which, again, there's only 1.68 defenseman. But if you're putting him against someone like that, is he going to get smothered, or is he going to be able to actually utilize his speed for benefit? Or when defensemen are quicker at the NHL level, he has less space, right? And the NHL also has smaller rink surfaces than in Germany. Will those faster defenders make it so he cannot enter the zone at the same speed that he has? But I think that he still has a high level of elite hockey sense, as they call it, or hockey IQ. He's a very intelligent player. So for me, that's less of a worry, because I see how he's able to adapt, and so he will likely have a little bit of a learning curve for sure, adjusting to faster defensemen and less time and space. But I think his skill set is such that he'll be okay.
All right, let's talk about best fits in this NHL draft, man. Which NHL teams, in your opinion, would be the best fit for Tim Stützle?
Yeah, so I think he's likely to be a top 5 pick. I've seen some lists have him as high as 2. I heard Corey Proman at The Athletic said he had heard that some team had him ranked 1.
Wow,
which is a little shocking. And I've seen them as low as 7 on some lists, public lists, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be a top 5. And so again, with the NHL draft lottery, like, things just keep changing. Like, the NHL announced yesterday they're going to reseed after the first round. So like a team like Pittsburgh could potentially miss the playoffs and get a top 10 pick.
No, man.
Even though they've even traded it away because it's protected. So there's all these weird scenarios that could play out. But in terms of fit of who likely is going to pick in the top 10, again, I think a team like Ottawa could use them big time. They need offensive players. Red Wings, again, I actually think the one that I think he would be really great on is the Los Angeles Kings, because they still have at center Anze Kopitar. He's getting older, but he's kind of a power forward type, a little bit slower, more of a puck protection player. And if you were to complement him either on the wing or complement him on a second line to have a complete opposite style of player, I think having a 1-2 punch like that, especially at center, would be really fun to watch, but also really good organizationally. So I think he would be a really good fit. And the Kings will probably pick, if it goes as planned, between 3 and 5. So that's a good range.
All right, 18-year-old center wing from Germany. Do you expect this guy to play in the NHL next year?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think like there's a side of me that really wants him to. Like I think in my draft guide I wrote, like, I think that he could. I agree with that. Players that are quick tend to make the jump faster. But I think if he comes over from Germany, and we don't really know right now, again, because of COVID-19 stuff, like some of the leagues in Germany, since Germany is a few months ahead of us and dealing with this, are talking about opening their seasons a normal time. So he may just stay over there if he's not going to make a roster. But I think that he could at least start the season in the NHL and get that kind of 8 or 9 game kind of field. He's active in Germany or in the American League farm team system primarily. So, but he will be fun to watch when he makes the NHL, and I think it is likely a year out.
All right. Remember the name, Tim Stützle. That is Tyson Quibell. Follow him on Twitter at QuibellTyson. Check out his top 100 NHL draft prospects. That is over at thepainted.com. Awesome in-depth article. If you love the NHL draft, make sure you check it out at thepainted.com. For Tyson, for myself, thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
Sixers win it! Wow!
close to right, Russell Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get it.